Oh, good morning. I've been testing out the Campark T180 trail camera for about the last 3 weeks, provided by the people at Campark. I really like this little camera. I've tested a lot of Campark trail cameras in the last year or so, and the T180 is a little different. One thing I like about it is that it's compact. You can see there it's about the size of your hand, and it has an integrated solar panel on top with a lithium rechargeable battery, so you don't have to spend money on batteries. And I've really gotten out of the habit of buying batteries. If I don't get a trail camera which has integrated solar, like the TC07 also has an integrated solar panel, then I'll buy a separate solar panel to attach. Now there's several things that really impressed me about this camera. One, of course, is the integrated solar power. The other is the sound. The microphone port is down here at the bottom. A lot of trail cameras really don't have very good sound. In fact, the best sounding trail camera I've had today was the Campark TC06. And the T180 has sound comparable to that. And we'll take a look inside here. One of the things you notice is that it only uses 4 AA batteries. And I usually use the Amazon AA batteries, which are pretty good batteries and pretty affordable, but still I'm not in the habit of buying a lot of batteries anymore. So when you go in the setup mode, you get your basic screen here, and then the buttons are a little different than your typical trail camera, but they perform the same function, real simple to use. And you've got your review of any files, and I'll go into a lot more detail on that when I review the phone app that goes with it. And then your menu. And again, you have mode, which is typical between video, photo, and photo plus video. The PIR interval, which like most cameras has a minimum of about 10 seconds. That's your reset time between videos. Sensitivity between low, medium, and high. You can also use a time lapse. And loop recording, which just means that once the card fills up, it'll start writing over the oldest files first so that you don't completely run out of data. The LEDs, you can set it to auto, medium, or low. Now the low setting is good if you're going to do some close-up work at night, because what happens is typically the IR lights overexpose subjects at night if they're too close. So you can either use the low mode. The auto mode does a pretty good job of trying to compensate for that, but you might want to go to the low mode if you're going to be working close. And another trick is to, if you're really working close and you're getting overexposure, you can always put like a piece of white paper over here with some tape, and that'll help reduce the overexposure if you're working within a matter of a couple of feet. And a low battery at night, when you're working at night, of course, with the IR lights on and running videos, when you're going to have your greatest battery drain. So what I usually do is have it set up for no shutting down, and then even though it may not record video, it'll be black, you'll still get the audio. You can set up a specific monitor period, and the side sensors, it has the 3 sensors, middle and 2 sides. I always have the side sensors on. That really makes a big difference in the triggering of subjects that move into your area of interest. The other thing too is, like a lot of the recent Campark trail cameras, the T180 has a 0.1 second trigger speed. And then you can move over here and set specific, to the right, set specific parameters for your photography, how many pictures you want to take. And I believe you can take up to a 10 photo burst when you get a trigger. I usually have this set at 3. Now the photos, I don't use photos a lot, I use mostly video. And then of course the shutter speed, which is the fastest, is 1/30th of a second. Video settings can go from 4K at 30 frames per second and 2K at 30, and then of course your standard 1080 at P30. I did some experimenting around with this. A lot of times the bit rate, which is really what affects the quality of video, changes between modes, and what I found the sweet spot with this camera is the 2K 30 frames per second modem, which has the highest bit rate and actually produces the highest quality video. In an attempt probably to limit file size, the 4K video actually has a lower bit rate, and you don't gain a whole lot in quality of imagery at 4K versus a 2K, but you can experiment around with that. But right now I'm using a 2K. And then the overall setting button, language, you can reverse to default settings. A format, you always want to format the new micro SD card when you put it in there. And one thing I got to say is you want to use a quality micro SD card. I use the SanDisk Extreme cards almost exclusively. And what I found with this camera in particular is I was a little short on micro SDs when I first got this, and I put in a freebie, cheapy micro SD in, and it didn't really work right. So as soon as I swapped it out with my SanDisk Extreme, it worked great. So a lot of times people say they have issues with recording or function of the cameras when they first get them. When it comes to trail cameras, you got to put in the quality SD and micro SD cards. It's simply the best way to make them work good. Setting the date and time, and then of course you can get your battery power, which is 90%. So the way this works is the batteries really act as a backup, and you can put on a date stamp and give the camera a name and set a password. I'm not using the password right now on this. You can set up any password you want. And now the Bluetooth you want to always leave on. The Bluetooth is what wakes up the Wi-Fi on the camera and then communicates with the phone. And I'll go through that with when I go through the phone app. Then you just go back into your main mode here. Now, like all the Campark trail cameras, your left and right function is you can take photographs in the setup mode just by pressing the OK button, and it'll take, in this case, 3 photos because that's what I have it set at. Or you can switch over here to video mode and you can take a video. So in a sense, you can run it as a video camera. And there's my little buddy, the bear. So that's all pretty straightforward, and I'll go through the phone app menu in a little bit. When you first get this, you can charge it in the sun. That'll take a little while to get it fully charged, but when you first get it, it comes with a USB cord. You can just put the USB cord in here and fully charge the solar panel for the first time. And this light here will be on red while it's charging, and then it'll turn off when it's fully charged. So let's close this up. And as far as the form and the function of the camera, I really like the small size and relatively lightweight of it compared to some of the other cameras. It has solid tree mount brackets on the back when it comes with the typical mounting belt that all of them come with. It has a tripod mount on the back instead of the bottom, but that's kind of good because it makes the sound a little better. All that means is you just have to rotate your tripod head 90 degrees to use it. And it has a little lock here if you want to put a cable lock through the camera. And again, it has the side PR sensors, which is becoming pretty typical on most trail cameras. I mean, I wouldn't really use a trail camera anymore that doesn't have side sensors. It makes such a big difference in getting early triggers. The instruction manuals with the cameras keep getting better. This one is fairly easy to read and clear and comprehensive. So to sum it all up, it's really a nice camera. I've had a lot of fun working with it for the last 3 weeks. It's real capable, well built, and reliable. And I'll show you a lot of examples and go over the phone app, which you use to connect and control the camera through your phone. I did a screen capture on my smartphone while I went through the Wildlife Cam app. Be sure and activate Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on your phone before you launch the app. Once you're viewing the live view through the camera, you can easily set it up to cover the area you're interested in. You can view photos and videos on the SD card and save them to your phone if you want to, but I usually wait and just take out the whole micro SD card and dump them to my computer. But it is handy, though, if you see something interesting, you can just dump it to your phone and have it handy right away to share. And basically all the menu options that are available on the camera are also available to be set through your phone app, so you can change the settings on your camera on the fly.